Well, welcome to the Psychic Side here on the A1R Psychic Radio Network, Moonstruck TV, Enlightening Television as well. So we're delighted to be here on the #1 Psychic Radio Network on Earth, and we have the stats to prove it. So thank you for joining me today. I am John Cappello. I'm a psychic medium from the North Texas area. And I've been around a long time in this area. A lot of people know me from around the country because I travel around the country. We like to talk to you about dispelling some of the myths around being a psychic. And by the way, I want to tell you that our show is sponsored by Miracles of Joy. I want to make sure that I get that in. Miracles of Joy is a fabulous metaphysical store in Louisville, Texas, and also now in Bedford, Texas. But here on our program, we like to dispel some of the myths about that skeptics have about psychics. And today I feel like I have a kind of a serious topic I want to talk to you about because I've had some things go on, and it's important that we kind of have a little bit of a reality check when it comes to getting a psychic reading. And this is kind of the topic or one of the topics that I had with Jennifer Farmer, who was a guest on our program a couple of weeks ago. And she brought up some really good points, and I may be repeating some of them today. But I want to talk to you a little bit about getting a reading from a psychic, okay? And I'll tell you why at the end, why I feel like this is so important. And the first thing that I want you to realize is that getting a reading from a psychic may sound like common sense, and it may very well be common sense, but that may be the information that's coming to the psychic, and so. That's what makes it valuable, though, because it's validation. And being validated with common sense is important because anyone can make up something if they want to. But the energy that's around you, if it's common sense, then the psychic is validating that, is bringing that to your attention. And it's just something that you'll be disappointed if you just feel like, oh, well, they just gave me common sense. But common sense is a very important part of the human experience. Some people just don't have common sense. So we have to take that into consideration as well. And I want to get in one other point before we go to our first caller. Let's see. I want to make sure that I'm in the chat very much. Okay, there we go. I'll get to you in just a moment, Marie. But secondly, you need to be open to psychic information. It may appear obvious to you that the psychic is giving you information that you already know. Well, the psychic doesn't know that. And it may not, you may not feel like that's anything special. But when you tell a psychic, well, I already knew that, or tell me something that I don't know, well, the psychic doesn't, like I say, doesn't know you. Like I don't know my clients. I don't read for family or friends. And so if I'm telling somebody something that they know, then I think that's pretty good because that's validating. That's information that is that gives you an indication that the psychic is for real because they're getting information which is beyond the physical. And I can tell you information that you don't know. It's probably not true, and I wouldn't do that. But it's a good basis for a psychic to give you some insight because sometimes when we're in a situation and the psychic can validate what the situation you're in, because they're detached and because they are sensing information that you may not be able to see because you're kind of enshrouded in the energy of the moment. When they can give you accurate information of what you do know, then they may be able to help you with information that is around you. Okay. And of course, you have to depend on the credibility of the psychic. And for the vast majority of psychics, they are credible. They are good people. They're spiritual people. So I can't tell you they're always right. I know I'm not always right. But you just need to be aware that if a psychic is giving you information that and then you fight with them, then it's not a good relationship that you have with the psychic. So let's go ahead and take our first caller, Marie in Sandown, New Hampshire. So Marie, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, how are you today?
Good. How about yourself?
Fine, fine. So Marie, have you had a loss in your life? Has there been a loss around you?
Yes.
Okay, is this a father or husband?
Um, well, I lost a son and I did
Oh,
lose
son.
my ex-husband.
Okay, so I'm sorry that both losses, it's terrible to lose someone especially that's close to you. I was picking up male energy, and I guess the father energy may have been your former husband, and then the husband energy might have been.
Sorry, I did lose my father too.
You lost your father too. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Well, so you have three men in spirit then that you have lost. Their energy is around you. Um, I'm going to go to your son at first because it just seems like that's the one that is the most you're having maybe the most grief over. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Your son, of course, is okay because he's in spirit and nothing can harm him now. But I guess I'm getting a little bit confused of what happened here. Was there illness around here? Were there drugs involved or anything?
Um, Not that I know of.
Okay, because it just feels like there was something that knocked him off his base. And was he all right just before he passed, or what?
He was fine. He was working and
Okay, I,
he did take drugs in the past, so I do have to admit that.
okay. Well, it just feels like it feels like maybe he was at a tipping point to where his body couldn't just take any more, and it just feels like there was a collapse here. Okay, and this is not something intentional. This was not an intentional taking of his life, but it may have been like the tip of an iceberg. He might not have even been an illegal substance. It might have been something that just triggered something that was already a weakness. Um, and so that's kind of what's coming to me. So did he collapse? Was there a collapse around him?
Um, I was told he was shot.
He was shot.
It was yes.
That's a collapse. It's not.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
collapse.
not laughing. I'm not laughing, but it just seems to me now he was shot. So there's this collapse. But could he have survived the incident and went to the hospital, or was he killed on the spot?
He was killed on the spot.
Okay. So tip of the iceberg. Okay, there was something. Now, was he in a position that he shouldn't, someplace he shouldn't have been, or what?
I know that he was at home. He lived in Florida, and he had moved to Florida 2 years prior. So,
Okay.
I only know what I was told.
Okay. There's something suspicious going on here, and it's like I say, there is something about drug use here. I'm sorry I missed it about but I got collapse and I got a tip of the iceberg. I got those sorts of things. So those things are validating when it comes to psychic information. But there was just something about I just kind of saw him, just kind of collapse there. But
Right.
it just seems to me that he I feel like generally he was a really good person. It's just that
Right.
he was. I just feel like he might have got involved with some people that were not in, of course, in his best interests. So, did they find the man that did this? Was this a man that took his life?
Um, they they did not. They actually said that he did it, but I know that he did not shoot himself. I know
I,
somebody else did, and it
I
hasn't
don't.
come out yet.
I have to agree with you. I don't think he did it. Okay. I think if anything, it was made to look like a suicide. But there's just no energy there for me to say that he took his life. But, I'm not the police. They have more information than I do. But this does not feel like an intentional suicide. Okay. I do think that he
Right,
had around some people he shouldn't have been around. And I do feel like, there's many times a woman involved, maybe some problem there, but it just feels like there's more to this than what meets the eye. Okay, so
right.
so I do want to. I'm going to kind of switch to your father for a moment, or now was your ex-husband who's in spirit? Was this the father of your son, or was it
Yes.
another person? Okay, because I keep hearing the father is taking care of the son. Okay,
Okay.
so your ex-husband, I don't know what kind of relationship he had with his son, but it just seems like he has stepped up to the plate and is around your son. So I'm going to stick with that, and so I want you to know that he is okay. Um, I I just don't feel like it was a suicide. Okay.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. His
Anything else?
fiance was in the house, and
Oh,
she gave a story about he was playing with his gun and it went off. That's that's her story.
well, that's not the energy that I have. But like I say, I'm not there, and I don't know. I'm not saying don't trust this lady, but I feel like you have some suspicions about her. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So there's something about that. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like when we say suicide, he's just not taking that. He's just not. It's just not there. Okay. And I'm not saying she did it. I'm saying that there it just feels like this is a masculine entity that shot that gun.
Right.
So there's more to this than what meets the eye. And I'm not telling you to take action against this lady or anything like that because we don't have anything to prove. But we have the psychic energy that I'm receiving. That's all I can tell you. Okay.
Right. Right.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Good luck to you. And once again, I'm sorry for the losses that you've had.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much
Okay.
for this
All right.
information. It really helps out. I've been
Okay.
trying to get the case opened for a while now, and you know,
Yeah, I
it's
know it can be maddening, but you may get another psychic reading to see what they come up with as well to kind of verify what I received. Okay.
I totally believe what you said.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Bye. So I want to kind of continue talking a little bit about the topic about getting a reading today, and you can kind of see how it works. I mean, there were some I feel like major things that I did get with Marie's son, the collapse, the tip of the iceberg. So something was the tip of the iceberg. The police are saying it's a suicide, and as did the fiance. Um, that doesn't feel right to me for some reason, but that doesn't mean I'm correct either. But it just doesn't sit well with me. I could be just picking up Marie's energy, but that's just the way that psychic energy works. Okay. So what I want to tell you too is that when you get a psychic reading, don't come to the psychic when you feel desperate. Okay. Don't come to a psychic when you're at your absolute wits end, because you're not going to get the information that you want, because your energy is frazzled. And when someone is that frazzled, the psychic who might be centered is going to give you what comes, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. A lot of times when people will contact me, they'll say, I'm desperate. I need to speak to this person, or I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I need direction. I generally tell them, no, I won't do the reading for you, or I just step back. I don't want. It depends on the situation, but generally I won't do a reading for someone that says they are desperate, because it's not good for you, and it's certainly not good for me, because that energy is very disruptive for me as well. So, um, the thing is that you put a psychic in a difficult position when you do that, because you're expecting some type of magic, and uh, psychic readings are not magic, and they're not anything that's conjured, or it's not anything that's done with a spell. It just comes. It's just information that comes, and so the psychic has to use their psychic senses to determine what that information is, the interpretation of it. So let's go to Marcy in Winnipeg, Canada, and we'll take her reading, and we'll do a reading for her, and then I'll finish up on a couple of other things that I want to talk to you about getting the psychic reading. So Marcy, are you there?
Yes,
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. Marcy, is there a grandmother in spirit that you were close to?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Do you have a specific question for me today? Because it looks like you've got lots of things going on here. But you certainly have a grandmother who is a guide for you, and kind of a rudder, if you want to call her that, because she kind of has a given you maybe your way of thinking, or your perspective of life, and I feel like that served you well over the course of your life. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular question for me today? Do you have children?
Um. Yeah, I have children.
Okay, because I'm getting children, and just it feels like you're a little frazzled right now. Are you frazzled? Are you worried about work, or worried about the future right now?
Yeah, I'm kind of worried. Yeah, worried about
Okay.
work
Okay.
and finances and stuff like that.
We're working finances. Aren't we all? It's just the
Yeah.
way. It's just the times right now.
Uh-huh.
Uh, it just seems to me, Marcy, that you and take this the right way. I feel like you're just going to have to detach a little bit, and you're going to have to just get away from these problems at the moment, mentally, and that may mean go to a movie, or just enjoy your children, enjoy your family life for a moment. It feels like the best answer I can give you is to take a break, because the answers are not simple. Okay, so are you currently working,
Yeah, I'm working. Yes,
but you're not happy there, or is it just very stressful?
it's stressful.
Stressful. Okay. That's just another reason to try to detach when you're not there at work, and just handle what you can, one thing at a time. And it's just a matter of having perspective. And if you're overwhelmed at work, then you may have to talk to your superiors about relieving some of the workload, or just do what you can do. do work well, okay? Because quantity is not better than quality at work. Because if you don't do quality work, then there could be consequences to it. So it's probably best to do quality over quantity. Some projects might be easier to handle, so you may have to sort them out. At least that's it. Are you having trouble with coworkers?
Um, not in no,
No,
not
okay.
really, no.
It's just the amount of work that's being thrust upon you. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just a stressful job because I'm a social worker,
Yeah.
so it's just stressful all around.
Well, yeah. Society today is tough everywhere. Um, we always think that Canada's better than us. At least I do. It sounds like it's stressful here,
Mhm.
like everywhere else. So like I say, I feel like just take one step at a time. You might have to consult with some other social workers on specific cases, but it seems to me that if you detach and try to find some joy in your life, and find some things that are going to make you happy, and then it's going to help you deal with the overwhelming amount of work that you have. So I hope that's helpful. Is that what you're looking for, or do you have any other questions?
Yeah. I just had another question. My friend's memorial is coming up on Thursday. I was just wondering, I've been
Is this
dreaming about him a lot, and he's trying to tell me something, but I don't know what it is.
is this a man or a woman? Is it a woman?
Um, a male.
A male? Okay. At first I heard male, then I said, well, maybe it's a woman. So, was there an accident associated with this gentleman passing away?
Was suicide. Yeah. So I guess.
Do what?
Yeah, like it was a suicide. So.
Okay. Okay. It just feels like there was some sort of accident here. Um, it just feels like you were bonded to him. Was this a love interest of yours?
Was it a what?
A love interest. Did you have a bond with this man?
He is like my best friend forever. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just feel like there's a love there that you have that was very strong. And But what I keep hearing is that he's okay, and that he says he feels safe. He says that he is still around you, and that he hopes that you will listen for his voice. Okay, because I really feel like you're going to hear from him. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So it just seems to me like this is someone that like it was a real pal, a buddy of yours. Now I have to be honest with you. There is a woman coming in. It's not your grandmother. Do you have another friend, or mother's still here? Is that right?
My mom's still here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It just feels like there's another woman that wants to come in. We can talk about that another time, but I wanted to share that with you, and just let you know that your friend is here. I do feel like the grief is palatable around you, and if they're going to have a memorial service, I hope that you will go, and that you know that it's important to him that you be there. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I wanted to tell you that there's a kind of an intimacy that is shared between a client and a psychic, and when you are not able to take something that later you tell the psychic was correct, it kind of throws people off, and because our energy is opened up like yours is, we're vulnerable too, and so there's a give and take there when you do psychic readings. And when you do an entire day of psychic readings, there's consequences. Sometimes the next day you have a terrible, what I call a psychic headache, Other times, you might wind up overeating. Sometimes you just have to kind of sit in the dark for a little while to kind of pull your energy back in. And it takes some time to recover from psychic readings. And it's something that people don't realize, but these readings affect us as well as you. And a lot of times people leave a reading thinking a lot about what the psychic says, and that's important. But it's something that you realize that there's a give and take, and there's a toll that's given to the psychic as well. Also, I want you to know that making decisions solely upon what a psychic says is not a good recommendation, because we are psychics. We read energy. We're not lawyers. We're not doctors. We're not financial planners, and we are not accountants. We're not professional people in those areas. We can tell you what the energy is around you. It may be correct, but it may not be correct. So when you're getting that kind of advice from us, then it's always good to consult with an attorney if it's a legal matter, consult with a doctor, and consult with others that are more astute in that field, because we can only give you the energy that comes to us. And it is not always correct, because we could be picking up your fears, you see. And so it's something that you need to be made aware of, because psychic readings are very valuable because they're validating. They're validating, and they can be highly accurate, and they usually are accurate if you're with a good psychic. But the point is that you've got to check and use your own decision-making processes when you get information from psychics. And then finally is always tell the truth to a psychic. Okay, tell the psychic the truth, because now I'll tell you the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I recently did a reading for someone, and when they first came, I told them exactly why they were there, and then I said, "Is that the reason why you're here?" And they said, "No, I just wanted a general reading." Well, we went through a full hour, and at the end, they said, "This is the reason why I was here." And I said, "Well, I said that in the very beginning. Why'd you go a full hour, without acknowledging that?" And they may not have been a believer or whatever. Excuse me. They might have just been desperate for a reading, but they had some decisions to make in their life, and I could have been, I feel, helpful, because I could have followed the energy of that original thought. So when a psychic is correct, don't fight with them. Work with them. They're not there to hurt you, that's for sure. So that's going to just about do it for us here on the psychic side for today, and I hope that you will have a great April. We are here every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm John Cappello. Our sponsor is Miracles of Joy. Go to their website and use code PSO223 to get a discount. So that's it for today. So long, and we'll be with you next week here on the A1R Psychic Radio Network. Bye-bye.